Hello, everybody. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining this session. Today, we are going to talk about a pillar of entrepreneurship, which is failure. So, we are going to explore real entrepreneurship stories, wins, and lessons. And we are also going to learn how failure happens and how can we learn when things fall apart. We are going to explore a topic that is at the heart of entrepreneurship, as I said, and the failure at the end is not an ending, but it's the starting point of reflection, of learning, and of growth. So let's start with what are we going to see in this session. Today we are going to learn a lot of topics. Mainly, we will recognize the failure as a natural and valuable part of the entrepreneurship or on the entrepreneurial process. We are going also to analyze stories, real stories, and identify key lessons out of these stories and get valuable insights about them. We are going also to reflect on their own experiences and extract teachable moments and lessons. And finally, we are going to translate these insights into classroom strategies. So let's begin and let's start with a simple question. Without overthinking, can you just tell me in one word, what does failure mean to you? Okay, I will give you the time to really think about this word, and I'm seeing words that can be translated. I mean, it's not something complicated. It's just what comes to your mind at first. Okay, so I'm seeing words like fear, disappointment, learning, challenge, and growth. It is really fascinating. So we all come to a story behind that word, which is uh, fear, and which is a lot of negative thoughts and also negative words. So why do you think this may be associated with failure? Why is it always associated with the negative words or negative feelings? Can really failure bring positive outcomes, or how it will bring that? And finally, what does this tell us about how the students will react and perceive mistakes? So let's start with something really important and in the heart of understanding failure, which is, why do we fear failure? Um, I can say that there is so many barriers that shape the fear of failure. Mainly, we have a social stigma, which is typically a fear of being judged and being rejected, and also disappointing others. It is a feeling that will cost us to be how people will see us, how people will see us after we fail. So it is a judgment, it is an emotion, it is a strong emotion that will be disappointing others. And this is all about social stigma. The second barrier is mainly we are living in a perfectionist culture. Our culture or our educational systems are often based on a reward system that is being right, but we do not learn, sorry, to learn by trying. So we don't have the chance to let people learn by trying. So we are in a perfection culture that we encourage the correct answers, the successful stories, but not how we learn from these failures and how or the learning process of getting there. The third barrier is the emotional cost. Failure costs so much, and it is an emotional, it's heavy emotionally. So it triggers frustration, shame, and also rejection. It is typically very costly to the emotions. It takes so many times to heal from this emotional impact. And the fourth one is the fixed mindset. When we talk about fixed mindset, is seeing the ability as static. It may be that I'm not good enough, I'm not good for that topic, instead of saying how can I improve. And the fifth is really the lack of reflection. So let's analyze this point by point and see how this kind of barriers affect our fear of failure. So first of all, let's discuss about the social stigma. What will people say? This is the main topic for every entrepreneur or every person. They worry about how they are going to be seen and what is their reputation after a failure. If my idea fails, how people will see me, how people will think I am. Am I incompetent? So this is the main thing that comes to the mind of entrepreneurs, which is how people will see this. We can have an example of a young entrepreneur that he closes his e-commerce business only after a year. So socially, instead of seeing him as someone who tries to do something and he learned from his failure, we are going to see him or label him as someone who failed simply. And this is really can make a big impact about the social stigma and on the path of entrepreneurship. I just want to reflect with you, how often do we see people that hide their mistakes in fear of being judged by the people around them. Second point is perfection culture, because we simply reward being right, and our school systems often they train us to have the single correct answer, but we don't have a safe space to fail or to give the wrong answer and learn what is the correct answer. As an example, in a technical workshop, mainly we are correcting students exactly after the mistake, without leaving a space for him to explore why I think it didn't work, why it is not a good answer, and to search for the good answer or the correct answer. So in this case, the learning opportunity is lost. And then we are going to talk about the emotional cost. Failure hurts. It hurts so much emotionally. It is not only rational, but it hurts deeply emotionally. So it is an emotional weight that can stop entrepreneurs from trying again. And this is what really happened. It's a big weight emotionally. A startup founder, for example, he pitches to investors and he really lost the trust of investors. So emotionally, it will be very heavy. It will impact him emotionally to start again or to pitch the next idea. Then we have the fixed mindset, which is, am I just not good at this? And this is really an obstacle that really stops so many entrepreneurs from going forward. A fixed mindset, it says that I'm not good at this, or I'm not good enough, or it is the a fixed strategy that the difference lies in belief, but not skill. And this is completely wrong. For example, we can have a trainee that struggles with coding, and he conclude that technology for me, I'm not a tech person. It's not for me. It's not who I am. But finally, it is only that his mind is fixed on that topic, and he's unable to see the learning opportunity and to learn the skills that are crucial for this kind of task. So, and we have also the lack of reflection. We tend, as a human beings, to really turn the page fast and to move on very fast without reflecting on what causes the problem and how we can correct our mistakes. So many people recover from failure by moving on quickly, and the best course of action for them is to move to the next thing without reflecting on what happened and how we can improve it. As an example, we can have an entrepreneur that he launched three similar projects in a row, but each time his project is failing for the same reason, which is, for example, market validation or market product fit. And without uh, a reflection strategy, he cannot move forward, he cannot learn, and he cannot succeed. So these are mainly the barriers of failing the of the fear of failing. So in entrepreneurship, failure doesn't block the path, but it is uh, building it. It is it's the path to success. The failure builds our path into success. As Thomas Edison said, every failure brings you one step closer to what works or to success. So we may think that failure can stop us, but in real life, failure is only a stepping stone to success. And the problem is that we see only the outcome, we don't see the journey. For example, if there is a successful person, so it make me think about an iceberg. We only see the tip, we only celebrate the success, but we don't look about the path, how successful people get there, how what is the pain, what is the all the path that take them into this kind of success. So we tend to celebrate the success, to see only the success, but we don't look at the lessons and the journeys behind it. So the tip of the iceberg is success, is awards, headlines, ceremonies on social media, final product, and the confidence that comes with the achievements and recognition results. But in beneath that, there is so many rejections, there is so many pivots, there is so many this idea will not work. There is a financial risk, there is years of small adjustment and reflection and persistence. But we only, unfortunately, we only see the tip of the iceberg, which is success. So we need to reflect on how entrepreneurs came to this result. It is years of rejection or maybe a lot of time of adjustment. This is what make the success possible. So let's discuss how we can get from failure to success. What is the real journey about that? So the real journey is a mix of a different path. So the entrepreneurial learning loop is a typical normal path to success. So we try things, we fail, we learn from our failure, we fail again, and we try again, and then without with when we go through this journey we can improve and we learn again, and it makes us think that this is not a straight line, but it is a mix of iterations, a mix of trying and failing and learning and improving. And then when you succeed we can say that okay, we will do this differently, so we try again and the loop is closed. So the path to success is not a linear, is not a one line, but it is adjustment and also a path that goes through try, fail, learn, improve, and succeed, and vice versa. So this is the actual path for success. In order to have that, I will just take you through a mini activity, and I will ask you to think about a personal or professional success you've had, and what are the failures, the early failures you had, the mistakes you've done, or lessons it helps you get there. And if you can share with the group with your insights. Some guiding questions are kind of what went wrong before it went right, what did you or someone learn from it, and how did that lesson lead to improvement or to success. So it is a sharing experience, real life experience of your personal experiences or professional experiences, or someone you know that been through the process. So I will let you share your thoughts about this topic and this activity. Great. So, in all the why that would lead me to go to the next question, but what makes some people recover quickly and grow faster after setbacks? It is mainly not luck, but it is the ability to be resilient. It is resilience. So, how can we build this resilience within entrepreneurs in order to recover and grow faster? Resilience in entrepreneurship means uh, five different things. It is perseverance, which means being committed and also persevere into despite the setbacks and the problems, and to continue doing your best and continue your path to success. Second is adaptability, is the way to pivot, change strategies, and change the way we think and pivot if necessary, if the conditions change, in order to correct the path. The third point is reflective thinking. It means that we need to learn from experience and reflect about the experience and learn from it. Learn the lesson and do not repeat the mistake. Fourth point is optimism. It is a pillar for resilience because if we are optimistic, it will maintain the belief that we can succeed, that there is possibilities, there is a new future waiting for us. So optimism will keep the fuel for the journey. And the final point is self-awareness. We need to recognize our limits, and we need to adapt to the emotions and triggers. So I just want to share with you or share with me or the group which of these five traits that comes most naturally to you, because mainly some traits come naturally to every person. It depends on the persons, but in the meantime, there are some traits that are really hard to practice. For example, in my own experience, I saw so many people that are perseverant, but the adaptability, they are not very comfortable with adaptability. They take so much time to adapt or to pivot. Also, optimism. I've seen so many entrepreneurs that are not optimistic about the future after the first fail. And this is really depends on every person. I really want to know what do you think about that? What comes naturally to you? And what is the hardest point to adapt or the hardest to practice for you and why? So I will let you reflect about this topic and share with the group. Great. So now we are going to talk about inspirational journeys of failure and wins. And as we can say that there's so many stories or and journeys that started with a difficult path and a failure, and then it was translated into success. So in every entrepreneur journey, there is two sides. The first side, which is moments of setbacks, where we are unsure, where the ideas are rejected, when we fail at first to deliver and plans collapse. It is like it is like a windy day where you have everything shattered and everything collapsed. Markets reject innovation, and we've been there. We heard so many investors saying that it will not work. But at the end of the day, it is just a moment of setback where you can reflect, when we can try to make things happen. And the second journey is where reflections comes in, where persistence and creativity spark, and there's where we say, "Aha, I can do better things. This may work." And we will have this ability and optimism to recover and to succeed. So, behind every success story, there is a learning story, and this is the most important thing about failure. It makes us learn from the story and the path of failing. So, reflecting is the way to rise and to get back to success and really succeed is to learn what are the mistakes I've done or what are the learnings, and then convert it into a learning path. So our first story is the famous Thomas Edison with his persistence beyond failure. So Thomas Edison was a student that was rejected by his professors, saying that he will not be good enough for studies. His brain is just a small brain that he cannot think, he cannot produce, and he cannot succeed. This is what was told to his mom at first, and she covered that by saying that all your teachers say that you are brilliant and they cannot teach you much, so I'm going to teach you at home. And by making this, he really failed 1,000 times, or he made 1,000 unsuccessful attempts to invent the light bulb we know actually. And the turning point about the story and is when he succeeded. He was asked that uh, you failed so many times, so how did you respond to that? So his response was the emblematic saying, I have not failed, but I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work. It is this mindset, it is the mindset that it was not a failure, but it was many ways that didn't work, that makes his journey into inventing the light bulb very persistent, and make him go beyond the dip of failure. So what we get as a lesson from that is the progress comes from curiosity and iteration. You need to iterate, do a lot of iterations, and learn about the way that didn't work to finally guide you into the way that works. And finally, the win was his persistence that led him to the most important innovation of all time of our modern history. So, this is a lesson about persistence, about resistance, and about taking failure positively, taking it as a lesson and taking it as an attempt that didn't work, not not a terminus for his invention. The next story is about G.K. Rowling, the global writer that was rejected, or 12 publishers rejected her manuscript, and she faced really a very hard financial hardship to finally continue writing, because she believes in the power of her stories, and she believes about the added value of her stories. So the lesson is with a clear vision and a purpose, you can really outlast external validations. So imagine a person that was rejected from 12 big publishers and finally persist and create because she believed in the power of her stories, and she believed that the story has a big value. So the lesson about that is vision and purpose can really outlast the external validations. What the win is, as we know, Harry Potter became one of the most successful literary series, and it was really inspiring millions. It was adapted into films and into a lot of things, into parks, and this is what resilience taught us. It is a real story about resilience and vision and the purpose of doing what we do. The third story is a story of a person that I personally admire because of his vision and because how he created, or his way of seeing success and seeing creativity. We are talking about the one and only Steve Jobs, that was at first fired from his own company at his 30s. So the failure moment was when he was removed from Apple, because the new management that he hired himself, he hired the ex marketing director of Pepsi, that see things completely different from his vision, and finally turn up the board against him and get fired from his own company at age of 30. What did he do then? He stepped back and he really created something else in the base of the same vision he had. He went into creating Next and invested a lot with his vision to the Pixel that was lately bought by Disney, that really revolutionized all the animation studios and discovering a new creative direction. So the lesson about that is sometimes failure gives you the distance that you need to reflect and to see things differently. For Jobs, it was an opportunity for him to step back, to discover a new creative direction and to think how he will serve, how he will achieve the first vision he had, although he was fired from his own company. So he returned 10 years after that to make Apple one of the successful tech companies till this day. So when we see these stories, it will give us the opportunity to reflect that failure it's only the start of something new, of a new path. As we said, failure is really a cornerstone to success. So being said, we will now analyze the entrepreneurial journey and we are going to introduce you to the learning loop canvas. So when failure hits, what we need to do is to go through the canvas that will help us really know what happened. It is a series of questions that will help us get the learning of what happens in the failure. So first question we ask is what happened? What happened? What is the problem? And then why did this happen? It is a way to understand the failure or to make the failure as small portions and analyze it. And then we are going to go through why did it happen and what did we learn about this failure. And by doing so, we will understand the reasons behind the failure that will help us go to the next step, which is what will we change? If we are going to do this again, what will we change? And finally, and the most important thing, how can we teach it? How can we teach it to the others? How can we share with the others our failures so they can learn from it also? So, what happened is to describe mainly the facts without emotion and really what was the situation or what was the challenge is to ask ourselves what is the situation and what is the challenge without being emotional about it. The second thing is why did it happen? Identify, and here is where we need to identify the causes and make assumptions. Okay, we tend to say who is the responsible of the failure, and this is wrong. We need to ask mainly what are the causes, but not the persons. What is the context, and what are the assumptions that we will have in order to analyze this failure. And the third point is what did we learn about this failure? The exact insights. We need to extract these insights, make them, and see what are the patterns and the lessons that emerge from this failure. The fourth point is what will we change if we are going to redo or if we are going to relaunch the business or relaunch the activity or relaunch the entrepreneurial journey? What will we change? And in this way, we need to define how to act differently next time and how we can handle this and how we can fix the problems to change it. And finally, we need to turn this into a learning opportunity for us and a resources also for the others. And this is where our value as trainers will be an added value because we are going to share our experiences, we are going to share our failures and the failures of people we know and the examples of failures we know and to teach them to our trainees and mentees. So I will ask you about to do a mini group task. So we need to form a groups of 4 or 3 person. Choose either one of the stories we discussed earlier, or your own experience or an experience of someone you know personally, and to use the 5 questions framework. Why? What happened? Why did it happen? What did we learn? What will we change? And how can we teach it to others? And write these insights in the provided documents in the link, and share it with the group so we can all learn together from this task. I will give you the time to do the task and then share it with us. So, how can we make this to a teaching practice? So, how can we turn insights into an actionable learning a canvas? Uh, in order to make this teachable, we suggest that first of all, to start by storytelling and case discussion. When we share stories, real stories, and local or global examples of entrepreneurial resilience, the learners will identify in that. It will trigger discussions. It will change the outcome. They will say that it is only us. It happened to others, so it is a normal curve. So the storytelling is really important, and the cases are important to learn from the failure. So within the process of teaching, include stories, real life stories, experiences of your own, of or other people you know. So they can learn from these examples, and it will trigger for learners that this can happen to everyone, and they will really trigger discussions and change the outcome. Second thing that we can do is a guided reflection, which is giving the learners the loop canvas and help them ask the right questions, make this into an activity or a project, and they use the tool in order to help them ask 3 to 2 questions. What happened? What did I learn? And what will I do differently next time? This can help them really know and ask the right questions in order to extract the insights and the learning. The third activity is peer dialogue and debate. When the learners debate, other ideas will spark. So what we suggest is to split the class into teams and simply ask, what would you have done differently in that entrepreneurial place? And to put the students in the shoes of entrepreneurs that failed, in order to develop a critical thinking and creative thinking, and also empathy, and in order to understand the situation and add value. What we can do also is simulation and role play. We can split the class. We can have, for example, the entrepreneur expose the problem, and also have the team as a role play, coming up with the solution, and turn the failure moments into mini scenarios. For example, your startup founder whose prototype failed, what will be your next move? And make a debrief and connect with reflection, and connects with reflection and learning, and let everyone uh, put himself into the shoes of the entrepreneur and come up with what is the right decision he can make. Finally, learning journals. We can encourage learners to keep weekly notes in order to make them one challenge I faced, so they can write the challenge they faced this week and what they learned. So this way, it will build self-confidence and self-awareness and ownership of learning. So from fear to fuel, we see that failure, it is only a fear to fail. But if we learn from uh, if we learn from the failure, we learn the lessons, we apply the learning curve, we will understand the causes, and the fear will disappear, and we can really safely fail and get back again. So, in one sentence from today's session, what do you want to remember, or what did you remember from this session. I will be pleased to hear from you. What did you learn from this session? So finally, here are the final key takeaways. So failure is not the end, it is a feedback. So every challenge, every setback provide important insights, important data to learn and improve. Success is also built on iteration, try, fail, learn, improve, succeed. It is not a simple line or a one linear line, but it is a lot of phases that you will go through by trying, failing, learning, try again, improve, and then succeed and get also when you succeed, try again. Resilience is teachable. Perseverance, adaptability, and reflection can be developed in learners, can be learned, and can be practiced also. Storytelling can make the learning stick to the minds of the learners. So real entrepreneurial journeys, real entrepreneurial failures can connect them emotionally and can give them insights and make the learning stick. The learning loop canvas is a powerful tool to transform the experience into learning, into growth. So, what happened? Why? So, we learn and change and teach that. And finally, trainers can create a safe space to experiment, because if we create a safe space, the learners will be able to share the experience without fear, and we will learn, and the classroom will be the best place to fail and to learn fast. Thank you so much for this session. I would like to really thank you for attending the session. See you in the next sessions, and have a nice day.